Appendix 1. Appendix 1, because the management are saying they wanted to empower the locals. Now that Appendix 1, Chair, check the address. The Milenge Town Council wrote to this director. The address is Mumbwa. I wanted also to find out if this Mumbwa is in Milenge. Second, Chair, Appendix 2.
Appendix 2.
The Milenge Town Council wrote to the director of East West Investment Limited, plot number 123 Silverest, Airport Villa, Chongwe. I would want to find out also, because the reason which they have given here, they wanted to empower locals. So, Chair, I would also want to find out if this address, Silverest Airport Villa, Chongwe, is in Milenge. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I would like you to allow me to call in the procurement officer to clarify on this one, or maybe give us guidance. Thank you, Chair.
Procurement officer.
Thank you, Chair. We wish to regret the omission. And
Let's just put the mic near.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we regret the omission, and we ensure that we abide by the Procurement Act and the regulation in the near future. I submit, Chair.
That's very interesting. Yes. Yes or no?
Very interesting indeed. In the first place, you said the CDF committee guidelines wants you to use local contractors. That's why you picked those three. But later, with some other projects, you picked one from Mumbwa and the other one from Silverest. So which regret are you regretting? Picking local contractors without following the procedure, or picking yet other contractors who are not local contractors? Which regret?
Procurement officer, you are regretting that you picked somebody from Chongwe?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, these are inherited projects. We just found the query, but that's why we're indicating our response that we regret the decision that was made by the tender committee that it was
through you, Chair. Was it the right procedure?
No, Chair. The procedure wasn't a right
so
procedure.
So you have to state it. The procedure was not a right procedure.
Yes, Chair.
And so you regret. Chair, I'm learning. But we don't want to start asking when were you there, because you might be saying, no, we are not there. Meanwhile, you were the people who were there.
He's saying you.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, for me, these are the people who prepared this report. And the response was to mislead this committee. Because if they knew that the procedure was not followed, why did they cite that the guideline on the need to empower local, well, that's why they followed these three contractors, and yet these three contractors, Chair, were not from the local. So why didn't they state, as they are submitting now, that the process was not followed, and instead they stated that we wanted to empower the locals, because the ones who did this are not the ones who prepared this report, Chair. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Dr. Mwanza, as we conclude.
Thank you, Chair. On the same, the the two cited contractors on page 5, Zaneva General Dealers and East West Investment Limited. Chair, they are the same contractors who did shoddy work on Sokontwe Rural Health Center and the other one 1x2 classroom block. And when you look at the comments in terms of bid responsiveness, was that the bidder, Zaneva bidder, was not responsive at technical evaluation. The same as East-West Investment Limited, he was not responsive at technical evaluation. Technical evaluation is not a minor deviation in terms of proceeding to award a job. What is a minor deviation is maybe a renewal of a certain license, maybe a NCC or something like that. You can take it as a minor deviation and go ahead to award. Technical evaluation is very important because it borders on the experience to do that particular job. You knew from the presentation that the contractor was incapable to do these works. Second, you knew that these contractors are not local contractors. My question is, was there any due pressure or influence to influence the procurement committee to award these contracts to the said contractors?
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. There wasn't any due pressure from anywhere, and the Chair is sad that we made this serious omission. It's something that we'll never endeavor to repeat in our next contracts that we are going to give to applicants, Chair.
Honorable Simambe, as we close.
Yeah, bullet question, Chair. The director said these are inherited situations. And I think I also had a similar sentiment from the procurement officer. Now, CS, are you saying when all these things were happening, yourself as CS, you were around to determine that there was no pressure from an angle?
Chair, from the records, we cannot tell that there were any pressure, but what the record that we saw is that contracts were just awarded. So we cannot tell, Chair, that there was pressure or there was no pressure. It would be very difficult for me to say, to agree to say there was pressure. So for me, I would rather say there was no pressure because...
Why don't you say both?
Okay, Honorable Mutero.
Chair, thank you so much. As it is coming, whatever we ask from Milenge Council, they will say we are not there. What assurance are you now giving to your committee, Milenge and the country at large, that whatever is in this report shall never repeat itself, according to you, now under your time? Second, what would be your statement over the enhanced CDF? Is it the right way to go for the people of Milenge or not?
Thank you. You have something to ask? You want to close? Yes.
Maybe, Chair, so that you close When you look at page 7, take note Milenge management.
Page 7.
Page 7, there was a payment of a boarding fees for non-pupils. Chair, on page 8, there was overpayment of boarding fees. Chair, there were irregular payment of boarding fees. Chair, there was double payments of boarding fees. When you continue here, questionable payment of fees, maybe, Chair, I would want to know each and every officer, when did they deport at Milenge? Maybe starting through you, Chair.
Yes. When did you go to Milenge? The mic.
Thank you, Chair. In my case, I reported at Milenge in November last year. Maybe.
Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
Just that.
Okay.
Next.
Thank you, Chair. I went to Milenge in June 2023.
June 2023. Next.
Thank you, Chair. I just reported in January 2024.
Next.
Chair, I reported in Milenge or to Milenge in 2019.
Okay.
And your position?
Internal auditor, Chair.
Yes. Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. I reported to Milenge in February 2023.
2023. Yourself.
Thank you, Chair. I reported to Milenge in July 2021. District Planning Officer.
Okay.
Chair, through you, the Director of Works reported in February, and the implementation of these projects for 2022 were done in 2023. The internal auditor was there since 2019, and would want to find out maybe from the internal auditor if there was any comment when he was passing these payments. For instance, payment, overpayment for unknown pupils. 39 pupils whose boarding fees amounted to 117 were unknown by the school management, in that the pupils were not appearing on the school pupils database for the year 2022. Where were you bearing your payment on if the pupils that you paid for were not bearing, Chair, on the database for the year 2022?
Internal auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Unfortunately, when the payment came through, we never sanctioned them or pended our signature, in that prior to signing payments, especially to do with such, there must be a verification exercise that's supposed to be undertaken to verify if at all the pupils that are being sanctioned or requested to be paid for are on the list. And the verification, Chair, had not been undertaken at the time that the payment came through. Hence, audit had requested that a verification exercise be undertaken prior to endorsing on the payment. Thank you, Chair.
So all of them, all these payments, you didn't see them? They never came to you?
Chair, some came through, but unfortunately we did not act on them, in that the exercise had not been undertaken.
Did you make that comment? Did you write to management?
Unfortunately, Chair, we only wanted to endorse or do or sanction the payments after the verification, which we did, and at the time that we did or conducted the verification, the payments had already been effected.
But so management went ahead and paid. That's when you saw it after the payment?
They came through, but we had requested that before we sanction them, we do the verification exercise.
Okay, so management ignored your advice?
Kind of, Chair. Thank you.
The chair said, did you write anywhere How do you do it? When something right or wrong comes on your table as an internal auditor, what do you normally do? As per your profession.
Internal auditor?
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, maybe just to simplify it, is there any evidence, internal auditor, that you can lay before this committee that you did advise management?
Do you have any evidence?
Chair, I think the only evidence that I can produce is the exercise that was undertaken by internal audit prior to signing the payments. It's the verification exercise that was undertaken, and the report, Chair, is before me.
You took an exercise?
Yes, Chair.
To verify?
To verify.
You went alone, no council officer?
No, we had gone with the SEP, that is the SEP.
When was that?
That was in, should have been early 2023, Chair.
Early 2023?
Yes, Chair.
Dr. Mwanza?
Chair, before...
Okay, on the same, yes.
Where is that report? Is it here? In here?
Unfortunately, no.
But you have it?
I have it, Chair.
Pass it. We want to see. Give it to Secretariat, whether you did your job or not.
Okay, thank you, Chair. On the same, out of all these payments for ghost students, so to say, now the action taken, you are saying the school will receive funding, the authority, for example, just take the authority on an amount of 3,000 in the action taken. The council acknowledges the omission and wishes to report that Luela Boarding Secondary School management was engaged on this omission and the school committed to refund the local authority. The school committed to refund an amount of 3,000 in the first term of 2024. When the school receives funding and payments from different sponsors for pupils such as CDF, CAMFED and KGS. The letter confirming the number of pupils under CDF bursary and commitment letter for the refund is attached. Even the 24,000 kwacha council will only be paid in the first term of 2024 when school receives funding under CDF, CAMFED and KGS. Why should the council wait for school authorities to receive funding for pupils that will be sponsored under CDF and these other sponsoring institutions? Because these institutions, they are going to fund certain pupils. And so, are we trying to say that in this, the reasoning that these institutions are giving is that they do not have 24,000 kwacha, and they do not have the 3,000 kwacha now to refund, but they have to wait for pupils who will be sponsored under these organizations? How will they get funding? Because those pupils that will be funded in 2024, each pupil will have his or her own funding. There will be no extra to pay the 24,000 kwacha or the 3,000 kwacha.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I want to bring to the attention of this House, this committee, that our schools normally have enough funds during the time when terms open, when pupils pay, when other sponsors pay. The audit came last year when you were almost at the end of the year, meaning that the schools, these schools...
Are you now defending the school?
No, that's what we had engaged them, Chair. We had meetings with them, several meetings with the schools. So they told us at that time they didn't have money in their coffers.
Where are the letters?
So they were waiting for schools to open on 8th January. Unfortunately, though, we didn't open in January.
Council Secretary, do you have documentation of your engagement?
Yes, Chair, we
That
have
is
those.
number one. Number two, it's not, you cannot allow the school to do things on their own. This is public funds. So we cannot give them a leverage to say, no, you're going to pay us when you have that money. All they need to do is to pay the money back. Where they find the money is not your business. Because that money, if you look at this, even me or any other person should be ashamed that you can use the funds, the public funds like this. Payment of boarding fees and non-pupils. Next, overpayment of boarding fees. The third one is irregular payment of boarding fees to the pupils that are sponsored by another institution. The third one is double payments of fees. Can you be doing that and then say they can give you at 10 times they have the money? It means you as local authority, you are failing to perform your duties. It means you as local authority should be charged. Because when you do this, all these things you're supposed to verify, you're supposed to do them before making payments. So if you went ahead, that is careless, negligence of duty, you're supposed to be charged. It's as simple as that. Those have no problem. If they want, they cannot return the money. But you have to deal with the paying entity, which is you, the spending agencies, government spending agencies. How can you do that? On your own, when you are preparing this report, you saw that this is a very bad report. Even in your farm, Council Secretary, if you find somebody doing this, can you be happy? Would you be happy?
No, Chair.
You wouldn't be happy. You wouldn't be happy. Because you see, there are other pupils that are supposed to be right to get this money, or other needy areas. Maybe the desks needed some desks, maybe you needed the mother shelter, maybe you needed a crossing point. But you go ahead, somebody else pays, you also go and pay. Yes. Yes, Honorable Sumumba. We want to...
Maybe, is it on the same? Okay, Chair. Also, on the same vein, when you look at page 17, I would want maybe some credit from the CS.
Page 17?
17, yes. It was 14, 13, 14, I don't know, they've put again 17 there. And 2022 CDF allocation and spend funds. Yeah, there on page 14. But again, we have put 7 there. Yeah, there, Chair.
On page 14?
Yes.
Yes, I'm on.
Yes, and again there is also 17.
17 and
yes.
14.
Just on 17, I don't know how they are doing, because here is 13, then they have put 17.
So now this is over expenditure?
Yes. So now, I'm interested, Chair, on the administrative cost. They approved by the time the auditors were auditing. They found that the monies that they never spent were 310,588.
It's the approved amount.
It's actual spent from January to December 2023, 443,584. I would want to find out, Chair,
Treasurer,
where did they get the variance from? Because there is a difference there, which means you have gone into a negative. I would want to find out how.
Chair, thank you, Chair. I'll ask my treasurer to explain on that one. Actually, there is no negative. Everything is okay. Maybe the treasurer can...
Council Secretary, can you read the table with us?
Yes.
Approved amount?
Yes.
Approved amount is how much?
310, 588.
Yes. Actual spent?
443, 584.
If you are seated here, there is nothing wrong. If you sat here, just on the report, without explanation, on the report that you see, it's normal. I'm just asking, if you are seated where I'm seated here, and they present such a report, that here is a 50 kwacha, go and buy something from town, and you came back and say, I bought it at 80 kwacha. Yet what you have given, what you have approved is 50 kwacha. Then you have come with something that costs about 80 kwacha. To you, it's normal, you can't ask.
You can ask, but Chair, allow me to call in the treasurer who has got...
Because we are looking at the report. Okay, go ahead, treasurer.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, in this figure, the 110,000 was the balance brought forward from 2022 funding and admin component.
Yeah.
But again, the 110,588 is a figure which was brought forward from 2022 funding. In 2023, we had done another allocation for under admin component.
It's written there.
Yes, so now the 132,996 is the interest end which was remitted to government.
Treasurer, we want you to calm down and slowly.
Yeah, just to go with him. Treasure, 310 brought forward, isn't it? Second column.
Actual spent in 2023.
What does that mean?
Okay.
You have brought forward 310. Then the actual expenditure, 443. Yes, continue.
Yes, here, Chair, what is just missing is the actual fund in 2023. There is no table for that.
So you want your committee to guess. Go to the utilization percentage. How much?
It's 143.
So if you go beyond 100%, you want your committee to believe that no things were okay.
I apologize, Chair, on that one, but I want to explain the 132,996. This was the interest end which was paid to a government account, to the fund. But here we had to lump it at admin cost. This is the figure.
So your report is misleading. What do we believe? What you are saying or what you have submitted? Which one do we take?
What you submit, Chair.
What you do?
What we have submitted, Chair.
So is what you submitted is correct?
Yes, there is on that vote.
No,
there is
I'm saying, that's why I'm saying take your time. So what you have submitted, these figures and everything without narration, they are correct?
They are correct, Chair.
I should be able to guess that this was brought forward.
The brought forward, the Chair, balance is the first column, which is approved amount.
No, because to me, if it's approved amount, it means maybe in 2023, this is the money that you approved. There is no information that is coming from the previous year. There is no information here. There is information according to you.
Chair, just to add on, when you look at this 132, it's not an interest, it's the difference, the variance that you overspent. Because the actual approved amount is 310,
yes,
and you spent 443.
So the addition.
So when you subtract, that's this amount. It's not the interest. I don't know the type of accounting you are doing.
So are you trying to mislead this committee, or you are trying to do what? CS, you also mentioned, so no, there is no, everything is okay, everything is what? How can you people, useful officers, be behaving like that? Trying to deceive us? Because we don't read? Because we can get anything that you submit? Other than what you have submitted, can get your explanation?
Chair, of course, even the 132 is wrong. It's 131.
That's not right.
But my first question was, are you now assuring this committee, Milengi, and the country at large, that you yourself, with your team, is going to do things differently? CS. Is this enhanced CDF the right way to go? But before You, I've gotten your report. When was this report done, internal auditor? I can help you. October 2023.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, but we are talking of 2022. All these issues. When did the Auditor General's office come to Milenge?
Chair, it was somewhere around September 2023.
Exactly. Thereafter, that's when he did this report.
So, Chair.
What I said, that they are out there to mislead.
Chair, maybe the last one, we look at Appendix 8 over the projects that they have just submitted to this committee.
Appendix?
Appendix 8. Chair, the construction of maternity annex ongoing. Chair, these are 2022 projects. It's still ongoing. So now, I was just counting the completed projects. Chair, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They are confirming to this committee that out of 16 projects, 11 are completed. I wanted to confirm if there are completion certificates. Maybe they have there, but here I can't see the completion certificate. Chair.
Director of Works, do you have completion certificates?
There are no completion certificates, Chair, and because the reason being that we're still in the defects liability period. These projects here, we started implementing them in 2023 for the CDF funding of 2022. Thank you.
On the same one, if we look at project number 3, construction of boys' dormitory at Luera Secondary School, it is 95% complete, and it's terminated. You terminate a contract that is 95% level of completion, which has almost the same financial progress as project number 6, construction of 1x3 classroom block at Kavange Primary School. The contract is also terminated. There are 3 contracts that have been terminated, and the financial progress, they are just remaining with a balance of 27% to complete the financials. So maybe just give a story of project number 3, which is at 95% completion, and it is terminated. Maybe it can lead us to as to why ineligible bidders got projects in Mirenge.
Just one, the project number 3. What's your comment there?
Chair, may I ask the director to lead us?
Director of Works.
Thank you, Chair. The issue of terminating the contract arose after we tried to engage the contractor so that they can finish up, because we noticed that there was no presence of the contractor on site and they were not doing anything. So we had to engage them in writing, where we gave them a 30 days notice to say if they don't complete the works within that period, then they risked their contract being terminated. So after they did not respond, we had no option, Chair, but to go ahead and terminate the contract.
Was this a local contractor? Director?
Not a local contractor.
What type of outstanding work in that 5% that could influence the functionality of the structure?
So the contractor was only remaining with the fabrication of bunker beds Then they had also remained with some works just to complete the flooring works, and also just the installation of some doors. Chair.
Thank you very much, Milenge. We want to put it on record that your report does not meet the acceptable standard before this committee. And you all claim that you went to Mirenge last year or the other year. That does not make you free of our scrutiny. And from our understanding is that you have a lot of uncoordinated responses on your committee. When you had an opportunity to make sure that you go through your report and be able to write something, that that will be acceptable by all of you. But from what you're getting, the responses we're getting from you at times, we are just asking the treasurer a simple question, that if you add this figure and this figure, you approve this figure and this, your expenditure is this figure. And yet he's got his own answers, he's got his own explanations. And in his own explanations, he is trying to put the record straight, but he submits something else. The reason we go there is to make sure that you polish up your report. Is to make sure that even the auditors spend time with you so that you correct all these things. But every time there are outstanding issues. Because if you had resolved all these issues with them, some of them would have been dropped. You have seen those figures where the auditors will whisper to the committee that you have dropped that query, you have dropped that query, because you have resolved. So we are not happy, and we do not pride in seeing disciplinary measures being meted on our officers. We want you to do the best you can. You're all still very, very young, with a lot of things to come. Your future is still bright. You're still going very far. You're still young, and you can't afford to start identifying your files, because we are able to make recommendations. One, as an institution, local authority, and two, as individuals. Individual officers, we can make recommendations. So we wish you well. We want you to put your house in order and be able to work as a team, because we are appearing before this committee next month. We want to see a change. We will not continue telling us that, no, you are not being there and things like that. Eventually we'll get to a place where you have actually executed all those things on your own. Internal auditor, we expect you to give us a minute that, yes, I advised these people and this is my writing. You don't end up coming up with a report. We want the communication between you and management that this was my advice. There are a few internal auditors, ladies of course, that came here and produced, this is my note, I advised the management, but management ignored my advice. At this time, let me withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at the beginning of this interaction, and wish you well as you go back. Thank you very much. You are free to leave.